Shut the door.
Hi, today we are going to talk about the Midwest region. You should have this packet, and what we are going to start reading on is land and water of the Midwest. Let's go over the questions first. On land and water of the Midwest, you should have this packet in front of you, and you can also follow along on the screen. The first question, these are going to be before and after true or falses. So this is what you think the answer will be prior to reading, and then you will go back after and fill in the after section and to see if you were correct or not. So the first question is, the Midwest region is next to the Pacific Ocean. What do you think before reading? True or false? Question 2. Most of the land in the Midwest region is flat, grassy plains. You're only filling out the before column. Do you think that's true or false? Write your answer in the box. Third question, the Great Lakes are connected to the Atlantic Ocean and the Gulf of Mexico by rivers and canals. True or false? What do you think prior to reading about land and water? And the last one in this section is number 4. The Mississippi River is the shortest river in the United States. What do you think? True or false? Okay, and then we have question 1. How are the Great Plains different from the Central Plains? How are they the same? So when we're reading, let's think about how the Great Plains are different from the Central Plains and how they are the same. Number 2, what are Badlands? So when you hear me talk about Badlands in the article, let's pay close attention. The answer will be right there. What are Badlands? Okay, so let's get started in the packet. I'm going to scroll to find it. Oops, we don't want to go that far. That was the answer key. Okay. All right, so land and water. Midwest region. All right, just follow along best as you can. Land and water. The land of the Midwest is very different from the land in the regions to its east. Almost all the Midwest is flat, gently rolling land with very few trees called the Central Plains. Prairie grasses cover much of the land. The prairie grasses help make the soil extremely fertile. The Central Plains are low, but rise slowly west of the Mississippi River. Paragraph 2. The Great Plains lie to the west of the Central Plains. The soil isn't as fertile, and there is less rainfall. The land is higher, drier, and rockier. The Great Plains are mostly dry grassland with few trees. So not many trees, few. The Black Hills in South Dakota are the hilliest part of the Great Plains. The Black Hills have very high peaks made of granite. There are areas of the Great Plains that are very dry. These areas are called badlands because the land is useless for farming and many other human purposes. In the badlands, there are steep slopes made of clay and soft rock. When it rains, the clay and rock erode, creating canyons and many strange shapes in the soft rock. We're going to continue to read just in the area that is white, not in the gray area, just where it says water. Water in the Midwest is very important. Most major cities in the Midwest formed near these waterways. Before railroads, travel on waterways was faster and less expensive than traveling on land. The Mississippi River and the Mississippi River combined to make an important waterway. The Mississippi River runs 2,300 miles through the Central Plains all the way to the Gulf of Mexico. Many tributaries join the Mississippi River, including the Missouri River and the Arkansas River from the west, and by the Ohio River from the east. The Missouri River is the longest river in North America, flowing just a few hundred miles farther than the Mississippi. The rivers are a busy water highway for boats and barges. The riverbanks are lined with leaves, raised areas that stop the river from overflowing. 4 of the 5 Great Lakes touch the Midwest region. These lakes are so large, they hold 1/4 of all the fresh water in the world, over 6 quadrillion gallons. Rivers and canals connect the Great Lakes to the Atlantic Ocean and the Gulf of Mexico. And I will stop there as far as reading on land and water. So now let's go back to those questions. We're only looking at 1 and 2. The true and false should have been filled out before, and now we can actually look at the after. So after listening and reading the area on land and water, what do you think now in the after column? The Midwest region is next to the Pacific Ocean. After reading, what do you conclude, true or false? And remember, you can pause this at any time if you need more time. If I'm going too quickly, you feel free to pause at any time. Most of the land, number 2, most of the land in the Midwest region is flat, grassy plains. True or false now after reading? The Great Lakes are connected to the Atlantic Ocean and the Gulf of Mexico by rivers and canals. True or false? And again, if you need time to look back into the article or just the little section on land and water that we just read, feel free to pause and take a look back. And number 4, the Mississippi River is the shortest river in the United States. True or false? Okay, now we will move on to question 1. Let's see, how are the Great Plains different from the Central Plains, and how are they the same? So we'll have 2 answers there because it's asking 2 questions within number 1. How are the Great Plains different from the Central Plains, and how are they the same? So if we could give an example of each, and again, feel free, please pause and go look back in the text if need be. Number 2, what are Badlands? Okay, again, what are Badlands? Take your time. That concludes the land and water of the Midwest section in the Midwest region.